Hey guys, this is Shivee Gupta here from Guptafineart. Today I'm going to be reviewing Dr. Crafty Resin. A lot of you may have seen this brand on Amazon and maybe you're a little worried about buying it, but here is my honest review. I do not get paid by Dr. Crafty and I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but here's an honest review telling you guys how this resin is. So let's jump right in. I bought the two large bottles off of Amazon. This was half gallon, so you end up getting one whole gallon after you mix the resin and hardener together. Right off the bat, I don't know if my bottles were mislabeled or something, but I found that the resin was really, really thick when I pour it in. And then the hardener is actually really liquidy. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's very liquidy. Regardless, when I do mix these, they mix quite well, but I do heat them up and I just fill my sink with warm water. I place them in there, I let them get warm, and then I mix them. I like to use these measuring cups, and they actually sent the measuring cups with this, so that's actually really nice because for $80, they sent me these reusable mixing cups. They sent two of them, and then this is what I use. So they do have the numbers on the inside, but again, it is rough. So when you clean this, I make sure to really get in there with my alcohol when I clean this up. One thing I will say is that this resin does take a full 72 hours to cure. So when you make something, I make a lot of resin coasters. I'm making sculptures out of my resin pieces, is that it does take 72 hours. So a lot of these pieces will actually be bendy if you take them out of the silicone mold. But as you can see, even though this is super thin, it is solid. Like that it doesn't bend, which is really, really nice. I think it dries very beautifully. It's very, very shiny. I don't have to do anything fancy with it. So this one's bendy because I took this out and I only put it in yesterday, but it'll harden right up. So it dries beautifully. This is one where I had to do a second coat over it because it wasn't level, just because my surface wasn't level. So I had to fix that. It is self-leveling, so when you put it in, it will level out by itself. You don't have to worry about that. Now, a lot of people always say that their resin sticks into their silicone molds. You can avoid this. I used to use a heat gun as well in my silicone molds, but I learned there's a method that you can use so that, you don't have to worry about the resin overheating. Sometimes what happens is when we use a heat gun or we use a blowtorch in a silicone mold, the resin actually overheats and then it sticks and it's just a mess. So instead, I just reused a little spray bottle and I filled it with some isopropyl alcohol, and I just use that, and that gets rid of most of the bubbles. Anyways, a lot of the bubbles should self-rise if you're mixing correctly. A lot of people don't use the right tools when they're mixing. That's honestly why a lot of times people's resin doesn't work. That they say that they'll do a 1-to-1, but did they really do a 1-to-1? Like, I use like the scientific method when I measure this. I look and I get eye level and I make sure that it's right at the meniscus when I measure both of these, right? So I'm very, very careful when I mix my resin. Also, heating is a really important thing. If you heat it, that will save you a lot of trouble. If I'm doing a larger, it says to mix, I think it says to mix, I don't know if it actually has a time on here, but I will mix this for a good 3 minutes, especially if I'm doing a larger batch, 3 to 4 minutes. I'll just keep mixing. And I really make sure to scrape all my sides, scrape the spoon off. I've sort of been doing a double pour in a lazy way where I won't scrape this so much. I'll just pour it into my separate cups that have my pigments in them. Then I'll mix those, so it's almost like it's already getting like a double cup stir. And that really can ensure that you don't have any resin left over that hasn't been mixed properly with the hardener. Okay, so in the box, they also had sent these. So this comes with it, which is really nice because these are great for spreading resin. I'll probably use these for art projects as well in the future, and these are awesome. They even have little holes so you can hang them after you're done using them. So super excited. I did use one of the spatulas for spreading out some resin on top of a project that I made. I take these and I make them into these super cool resin tiles and they look beautiful. So I find that this resin works really well for that. UV resistant, it does say that it is UV resistant, but again, that is something that you can't tell for, you know, until you've had the product for a couple weeks or a couple months. And eventually, you know, over years of time, I think all resin will eventually yellow. So I can't really say that about this resin yet because I haven't had it for that long. Yeah, I think this resin works fabulously. I have no problems with it curing. I just try to make sure I follow all the instructions properly when I'm using any kind of resin. Obviously, you want to use gloves and whatnot. They do send you one free product if you leave them a review, an honest review. And they do send you one free product. So this is the one free product I chose, which was their mica powders. And I really am enjoying these. The colors are beautiful. Yeah, so I really like that about the mica powders. They're very, very nice. I will say I mean, it is a free product, so I'm not really complaining, but it is a little annoying in Ziploc bags because you really have to shake it before you can really get that pigment out. But yeah, a little goes a long way. It works just like any other pigment I have used. So yeah, that is my honest review on these, and these turned out so beautiful. This was actually done in a class of mine by a client of mine. I just made this one at home. I'm making these. So one thing I forgot to mention about the Dr. Crafty Resin is that I didn't find that it had any smell to it. So if you're worried about VOCs, I don't think it has much of a smell. It's slightly sweet smelling. You know, that's how most people describe the smell of resin. Not that I'm trying to smell the resin. Highly don't recommend that. And obviously you do have to use gloves, just like any other resin. But other than that, this resin works really well. So I've had really good results with this resin, and I've used liquid pigments, I've used powder pigments, I've used alcohol inks, and all of them cure just fine. As long as you're following, you know, just don't put more than 10% of your mixture into your resin and you should be fine. I'm actually giving away for a giveaway, so I already chose my winners, so they're really sparkly, but I'm already giving those ones away on my Instagram, which is at Guptafineart. So if you ever want to win anything, I do giveaways on my Instagram at Guptafineart. So thanks guys for watching my little review here. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.